Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the next episode of King Dummies. My name is Evan, and as always, joined by Jesse and Adam.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Last we left off, we had to cut it off the arc a little short. We ended in chapter 92, and we're going to start off with chapter 93. Um, where we left off, we came to the shocking, absolutely stunning realization that Kyokai is a girl, and
Yeah, it is.
nobody
It is.
ever was able to pick that out.
It is worth mentioning in both episodes. It is that shocking.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen back, you'll hear us just our jaws physically drop and slam against the ground because this was so unexpected.
Yeah, we actually had to stop the episode short because Adam had to be rushed to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't fully recovered.
Yeah. As far as I know, your jaw's still wired shut, right?
Absolutely.
You're using one of those voice transmogrifiers, those voice boxes that people who get their they have that smoke, have that thing. They sound like a robot.
I always like to think about Stephen Hawking
I
as
was
a
going,
heavy
yeah.
smoker and needed that.
Oh. No, I was just gonna say I have the Stephen Hawking thing, a little computer next to me at my desk here, but yeah, no, Stephen Hawking definitely a heavy smoker.
Mm-hmm. That's why his voice was all fucked up.
This is horrible. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Stephen Hawking. You don't deserve this.
Yeah, that man was a legend. He did a lot for astrophysics. So we should. I mean, what
He
the fuck are we doing sitting
he
here talking about
discovered
Kingdom?
he discovered Kyokai's true identity as a woman.
Yeah, the Kyokai's
Absolutely.
identity as a woman was fully within his models for black holes.
Different kind of black hole.
Yeah, he's like in a black hole, time and space are reversed. There's something called Hawking radiation that radiates as a black hole ages, and Kyokai is also a woman. That's in his books.
I almost just spit up my coffee when you said that.
Damn it! I wish you did. But all right, so let's get into this read through, boys. So we are starting off at chapter 93. Unfortunately, a lot of my notes I just usually type them in a notepad, and I just didn't save it for some dumb reason. So I appreciate you having yours up here at.
Hey,
But
no
yeah, we
problem.
start off in chapter 93. It starts off with Sei telling Shin that Kyokai is a girl, and Shin's like, "What?" Because he's the biggest king dummy of them all. Um, truly though.
A true legend of dummies.
So Karyoten could tell, she's saying like, "Yeah, I know, I can tell." Uh, yeah, she just so Shin and Sei have this conversation, and Shin like does not believe it. Like he's like on was this page 6, I think it is. Yeah, page 6. Shin's like, "Oh, like hell, I can believe something like that." It's like, dude, she's like a pretty girl. Like, come on, man. You know, and he's like, he's under the assumption that women can't do swordplay like that. Uh, but yeah, Say's like, you're an idiot. First off, I mean, you couldn't really tell, I guess, but she was always a woman, which is pretty cool. Uh, it's a matriarchal assassin clan. Uh, and so, at this point, we get to see Kyokai without her headband on with those weird ass eyebrow things. And Karyoten's like, oh, she's actually kind of pretty. Uh, so it's at this point where um, Ten is like saying, she wants to go to the battlefield as well. And they get confronted by one of the survivors of the Shukyo who's like, hey, you're a badass. I kind of want to, be like your vassal or whatever, but Kyokai has no interest in that. Oh yes, the Shukyo clan leader actually.
Yeah,
But so
his name
he
is
just leaves.
Entei, by the way.
Yes, right. He's the one that didn't get stabbed in the back in the last, uh, like of like the 9,000 people that got stabbed in the back in the same exact spot.
Seriously,
It's
like 4 people in a row or something like that. How did I not hear you? Well, because you're a half-bit assassin. How did I not hear you? How could you possibly hear me? You're a half-bit assassin.
it's like it's like the worst Dark Souls PvP ever. Like a bunch of people that really suck at Dark Souls PvP start playing against each other. So yeah, this chapter is pretty cool because it has a lot about, like what the Shiyu was, um, and going forward, like the next chapter and stuff, goes into like Kyokai's backstory and like the legends of the Shiyu. Chapter 94 on the first page, um, it has like this ancient sword. It talks about like the origination, the origins of the sword, as it wasn't a tool of warfare for killing people, but it was like an instrument for venerating the heavens in different um, like rituals and stuff. But eventually people started just using it to kill people, and people forgot like what these rituals and stuff to the heavens were for. But there were some people that they still danced for the gods, and those were the Shiyu. And um, this is where we start to get into Kyokai's backstory, with her sister Sho, like the older sister, and it shows how badass those two were, and how actually like Sho was like better than Kyokai in a lot of ways, because she was older. Um, so the Shiyu clan has this thing where they have to select a successor. So each of the tribes would send 2 candidates, and then they would compete for the name of the Shiyu, like a death match, until only one person remains. Kind of like what is that?
A battle
In
royale.
Kengan.
The Hunger
Yeah,
Games.
no, but like in Kengan, Agito is like this.
Oh,
Um,
he's the Fang.
yeah, where like they put him through
Oh,
like some sort of ritual like that, where like only one person could survive.
yeah. I don't know if wait, did they do that with Agito? I thought it was like as a bodyguard, or do you mean before they actually found him?
Before they
Right,
found
they
him.
found him in like he was like in some like prison in like a chamber with like 100 other people, and he killed everybody and was the only survivor.
Right, right.
Yeah, I
So
don't
it's
I don't
like,
know exactly what that's called. I guess a battle royale, right?
yeah, I mean, in that context, they were talking about it, some sort of like poisonous centipede fucking ritual thing that makes the
Oh
most poisonous.
yes, yes.
Like the one that survives the most is gonna be the most poisonous.
It's funny that you say it like that too, because in Mob Psycho, there's a character. One of the psychics has the ability to put a bunch of demon souls into a jar and make a poison centipede out of all of them. And he does
Huh.
that. He does that with the. Oh my god, I can't remember the character's name. The little green spirit that follows Mob around, and he does it with him.
Yeah.
And he comes out because he just like ate every bug or whatever inside the jar.
Is that like in the manga, or is that in the?
It's in
Because I don't
that.
remember that in the
That's in the
show.
anime. Yeah, when they
Oh.
infiltrate, when they like go and infiltrate the first hideout of like the man, I haven't watched it in so long. I can't even remember the name of the
It's like the
Claw.
sunrise
I
something.
think they're called the Claw.
Hmm.
No, the well, that's like that. So the sunrise. Oh, we're getting way off topic here, but the
Yeah,
sunrise.
a little bit, but
That was like the cult that guy, the green little spirit that follows Mob around. He was the leader of.
right.
And then
Okay.
Mob and some other psychics go and infiltrate. I think they're called the Claw.
Yeah,
And
the bad guy organization.
right, and that's when that guy with the jar with the poison centipede, he's a part of that organization.
Hmm. Okay. Noted. It's probably a reference to the same thing, honestly.
Right. That's all I was trying to get at. That Kano and that jar were the same thing, which is I'm sure has been in other manga and other anime.
Hmm. Probably. I mean, I think it's like some Chinese thing. Yeah. All right. Let's get a little bit back on on the topic here, I guess.
I have
um.
something to say about Kyokai and her sister.
Go ahead.
If you read here on page 7, chapter 94, it actually says that the Kyo tribe would send out 2 girls who were raised together practically as sisters. So, I guess that implies that these two aren't actually related, and it kind of reminds me, obviously, of Shin and Hyo. And, even though they don't know it, Shin and Kyokai kind of lost, the same person to them, respectively. You know what I mean? They kind of went through the same thing and are carrying out their mission for, the other person, I think. You know what I mean?
To like make sure that their memory is not wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never really considered that.
Yeah, me neither, actually. Good job on that one.
Yeah,
Jesse.
I like that you pointed that out a lot because their situations are super similar. Both of them lost a person that arguably is more talented.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
And they use them as motivation to get even better.
Right. I mean, well, as of now, Kyokai's only motivation is to kill the other Shiyu and then kill herself, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. I mean, in this chapter, they have those two talking about, oh yeah, no, don't worry, you're gonna survive. No, you're gonna survive. you know, there's
Yeah.
like a little bit of a back and forth between them. And Sho's even saying like, oh yeah, I don't want to fucking do this. I don't want to die at 15. Like, I want to have kids. I want to know the warmth of a man.
She does say that.
She does say that, which is, I mean, a little weird, but I get it. I mean, I was a horny little bastard when I was 15 too. So.
Also, I mean, she's a Shiyu. I would assume their entire tribe is mostly women, right? I mean, I would assume, since we don't really know much, they probably go out and mate and then bring the child home with them and don't have any men actually living in their village.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Something
It's
along
like
those
it's
lines.
like a Gerudo situation where they find sperm donors, and then I guess kill the babies or whatever that were male. I don't know what they do with them.
It's like a big mom kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, a little bit. Except there's a lot of people having babes.
A lot of people.
But actually, you know what, Jesse, you're right. On page 11 of this, it does show as like, oh, Kai, I've always thought of you as my real sister. So yeah, you made a really good point there. So yeah, I mean, the night passes and Kyokai, they have to sleep early or wake up and pretty early. But Kyokai wakes up and it's like already nighttime, like she slept through the day because she was drugged.
Pages 14 and 50 I love because 14 is just like a lot of scenery, and you're not really expecting anything. But then on 15, when her eye just opens really wide at the top of the page, you know something is wrong. And then at the bottom of the page, her eyes are all like bloodshot. They're all like veined up and she's like, it's evening, fuck.
Now on page 14, that like incense that's burning next to her head, is that supposed to be like the drug that kept her asleep?
I believe so. Yeah. I want to say yeah.
Yeah, well, duh. On the fucking 2 pages later, it shows I was put to sleep with the same exact shit.
Yeah. Also, God. On page 13, I think it's just something to note. She has a name for her sword. I think most Shiyu have names for their swords.
Right.
Her sword's name is Ryokusui.
Right.
Just wanted to point. Oh, go ahead.
I looked it up because I thought that Rio meant like dragon or something, but from what I could tell, I think that means Green River, is what I think it said on the Kingdom Wiki.
That's cool.
So
that's actually a really cool name.
Yeah. I like that.
But yeah, I would assume that most of them do.
Yeah, I was also under the assumption that that meant dragon, but
I think maybe I'm thinking of Ryu is dragon, like Shoryuken. I think that means dragon in there. I don't know.
Dragon uppercut.
No, it means dragon punch.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is known in the fighting community as a dragon punch.
Right, because Ken. Yes, I think it's like Rising Dragon Punch, maybe, because Ken is like fist, like punch. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like, if someone in the fighting community says he has a DP, that means he has a dragon punch, referring to the Shoryuken or literally any
Is that
other
what
fight.
that means?
Yeah, so like he has a DP. Like a lot of characters have DPs. They have dragon punches, which is a off of wake up. You can do a DP if someone's like trying to like, you know, put aggression on you or possibly even bait
Wow.
you into DPing, and then they grab you after you DP. There's a lot of mix ups there. But yeah, DP dragon punch. I would assume Shoryuken means dragon punch.
Wow, that's fucking the more you learn, man. I feel like I just sat through like a PBS hour or something.
I'm
That's
sorry,
pretty
I
cool.
wasn't listening to what you said. To be honest with you, there was a bunch of noise in the background. I'm the only one home, so
Yeah.
I don't know if my cats are fucking around right now,
Yeah,
Trying to
that's
shit my
probably
pants a little
that.
bit.
or if someone just walked into my apartment. I gotta go check real quick, so just keep going.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, I guess we can just go through with the read through here.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, at the end of this chapter, she gets there. Everybody's beheaded.
Yeah, everybody's dead already. The next chapter is like a what's it called? A flashback to the day from Sho's perspective, and when the ritual starts. Um, the elders are like, "Hey, where's Kyokai? What the hell?" Sho's like, "Nah, don't gotta worry about it. Kyokai's run away because she fears death. Just start the ritual already." So they start the ritual, and you know, Kyokai's already, it goes back to Kyokai's perspective where she's like, "What the fuck? Everyone's dead. Where is everybody?" She's looking for her sister. Uh,
What scene are we on right now? Because I'm showing the picture where Kyokai just shows up on
we
page 18 of 94 right now.
we already went into the next chapter.
Okay.
We were on like page 8.
Okay.
We're talking about how she has like a few memories of her sister like doing stuff. And she's like, "Oh yeah, she must have survived or whatever," but she finds her body, her head chopped off, unfortunately.
Gotcha. I'm just quickly going through these panels. I'm sure you may have even mentioned all this. I'm just showing the pictures of all the different Shiyu from the different clans with their different symbols on their headbands.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I'm
really
guessing
funny.
It was cats then.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I'm guessing it was the cats then.
I don't know. All the cats are sleeping. I literally could not tell you what just happened in my apartment. It literally
all the furniture is missing.
It literally sounded like someone walked into my apartment. Like that's the noise that the door makes. So I got up and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Because I know Steph's at school, but she wasn't gonna be home until much later. So anyway,
Maybe she had to come take a poop.
Nah,
She didn't wanna do the
not
public
this time.
bathroom.
She every time though that she comes home early, it is because of that. So Steph, if you're listening, I'm sorry I just outed you like that, but you know it's the truth.
It's all right. I almost did that yesterday, but I held it in. So
I'm proud of you.
thanks, buddy.
Something.
I have a steel trap of a colon.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I can hold my shit for a long time.
That's unhealthy. But
I don't know what bragging about.
Adam, you should pull up page 5 for the viewers.
yeah, I was about to go to page 5, but something I wanted to say was that the headband being the reason that people can't tell that Kyokai is a girl. I guess because it hides her hair, like her braid, is like the same thing. It was making me think like when like I don't know, like someone like Mermaid Man who has literally something that just covers his eyes, and everyone's like, who could that be? You know, like a superhero wearing something like that, like Robin.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out from page 5 is that the old woman here reminds me of the mom from Vagabond. You know what I'm talking about, Adam?
Hanadin's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's her
absolutely.
fucking name? I don't know.
Granny Hanadin is all I know her as.
Yeah.
I can't
But
stand
this
her.
page is-
Ugh.
yeah, she's the worst. But this page is pretty great because, I mean, look at her fucking teeth there. Like,
Yeah, they make me cringe.
it looks so gross.
Yeah, she literally has 7 fucking teeth.
I've
Imagine
definitely,
eating a steak with those teeth. It would
dude.
hurt.
She's got like one like meat slicer, and in her mouth, and like barely grinders. I feel like I've definitely seen this woman walk in the streets of like Atlantic City or something. You know?
I like how some of them don't even have a headband. They just
Yeah,
have like tattoos on their forehead
or like
paint,
covering
maybe.
their mouth.
Yeah, I think that clan covers their mouth instead of their head.
Yeah, because there's like what 19 clans or some shit they said.
Yeah, there might even be more. That might just be who was actually brought here for this ritual. But yeah,
So
You can see two of them with two of them with no headband and their mouth covered, and then there's one of them actually with the mouth and the headband covered.
right.
So we've got it all covered here.
let's go. Yeah, I think Kyokai and her sister also have a mouth covering. They just wear it as a scarf rather than pulling it up.
Right. Yeah, Kyokai's definitely got like a scarf thing. Um so here's the thing. Um so Sho is dead. She's explaining this to Karyoten, but it wasn't because she was like not powerful or anything like that, but it was the opposite. Like she was at the same time at the very beginning of the ritual, everybody else attacked her. Um so then that way, like it's not allowed. Like they shouldn't be they shouldn't have done that, but um it's revealed that like those two were like way better than everybody else. Uh, but for some reason that they consented to it, even though the law was supposed to be absolute, which is kind of dumb. I think that's pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, on like page I don't know 11 through 16, it shows Kyo talking to the granny,
Yeah,
and she's like, "Yeah, they weren't supposed to, but they all jumped
they
her."
did it. Yeah, like that's the explanation. Like, yeah, it's against the sacred ritual laws, but yeah,
Which is great because on page 15, or no, page 14, all the other, I guess, village elders. I don't really know who these people are.
these are supposed to be the elders
The
of
various
the
clans.
yeah.
So all of them come out and they're like, "Yeah, you have to die, kill yourself because
Yeah.
you didn't win, and this is our law." And Kyokai's like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, like
You want me to
what the
follow
fuck
the law?"
even though you literally just broke the specifically sacred law that you raised us up on, and you want me to just follow another arbitrary and capricious fucking bullshit rule that you have, and you know nah, she actually even says it at the end of this chapter, like a law of 1,000 years, what a joke.
Yeah.
And Kyokai fucking murders all the elders, and the only thing she has to do is kill the current Shiyu. Whoa. You guys hear that?
I did.
Did
Was
you
that your
summon a
cat?
demon?
No, that was my cat
Was that
fighting my
Boo?
other cat. Yeah,
Aw,
yeah.
Boo.
Yeah, Boo does not get along well with Winston. Well, they get along fine, but when he comes near her, she kind of freaks out.
Poor
Sorry
Boo.
about that.
That's okay.
Boo, it's okay, Boo. Stop being a fucking dingus.
Oh my
Do you hear
goodness.
her?
Yeah, she sounds like a baby crying. Poor
Boo.
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 Should I put like in the title of this episode at the end, like put like featuring Boo or something like
Yeah,
that?
you can do that if you'd like. I don't mind. Oh, Boo. I love this baby. But all right. Anyway, so the one that killed Joe is the current CU, and this person named Ren. I'm guessing you Ren, um, because it says Ren of the U tribe, and Kyokai is Kai of the Kyokai tribe, so it should be you Ren, right?
That would make
I
sense.
have the Kyokai tribe.
So her sole purpose in life is to kill Ren, the current Shiyu, and she's like, I'm gonna fuck off. I don't have time to waste on people like you. Um, so and 10 like makes the point like, hey, what is it like the worst part about this? Like, that was like she got killed by like underhanded tactics, or like that you were a victim of this stuff, or was it because like you weren't able to be with her when she died? Like, what's the worst part? And 10's basically making the point that like it's she has nothing to do this quest of revenge has nothing to do with like the she or anything. That it's basically just um like the fact that she misses her sister, and that she wanted to be with her when she died, and like she was resigned to die anyway. um
But also, I think 10 is making the point that she has the same feelings about Shin. That
right.
that's the reason why she wants Kyokai to train her, because she's saying, like, the worst part is the fact that she died and you weren't there. And she's afraid that if Shin dies and she's not there, she's going to go through the same pain that Kyokai
Right.
is dealing with right now. Which is why she's so adamant about getting Kyokai to teach her to be able to go onto a battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But
So,
Kyokai does come through for her.
oh, for sure. Yeah, that's a little bit farther. Oh my. Oh my. You fucking cats. Sorry about that, guys. Let me just
I'm
take
fucking
care of
pissed.
them.
Yeah, I'm also pissed.
Thanks, Derv. All right,
Such a good girl.
now that cats are separated, let's continue forward. I mean, on page 8 of chapter 96, we get a little bit of narration from whoever the series narrator is. It's saying, like this assassin incident, while not as big as Seikyo's rebellion, would impact Sei's faction in a like really incomparable way. Um, you know, Chin was ruled by a dictator that was so overwhelmingly strong that he didn't even consider Sei to be a threat. Um, and that this incident would make him start to like go up against Sei and his faction, like in the like out in the open, like he's not going to just like do underhanded tactics and shit like this. um Next few chapters it's saying like, oh yeah, the person that organized all these killings and stuff was Rio. But they can't really go after him because like most of the royal court's under his thumb and stuff. um like even if they put him in a trial, like it wouldn't work. They would just steamroll over the court proceedings and stuff. um and they're saying like, Heki's making the point like it's like as if we were fighting an army of 10,000, nearly 10 men. And Shin's like, yeah, it's not about numbers. Battles aren't about numbers. They're about the people. And Sei's faction has like some pretty high quality people, but Rio's faction also has some pretty goddamn powerful people.
Yeah, Rio's
Um,
faction's fucking insane.
so on page 16, the Chancellor arrives with his entourage of people. We get to see them for the first time. Um, First off, I want to say on page 16, look how fucking big Mobu is. He's just as tall as the horse he's riding.
It's like it reminds me a lot of Oki, that scene where he's on the horse standing next to Shin
Yeah,
and Shin's looking up at him, and I'm like, how could a horse be that fucking big? But then you look at
for
Oki and you're
sure.
like, you need a horse that big for a fucking man that big.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like for in this scene in particular, like there's a guy standing next to him, and he's about the size of Mobu's leg. You know, he's smaller
Seriously.
than the weapon that Mobu is actually like utilizing. And I don't know if that's like it's stylistic or not, but
I'm sure
I
it
think
is.
I think it has to do a little bit with what we were talking about, where like people's strength is exaggerated in how big they are.
yeah,
Right.
Um,
And we'll see that too in like in a upcoming page, like how
yeah,
other people, like how the other chancellors see these people walking in and being like they're larger than life, like their pressure is so big that it's making them seem like they're giants.
So real quick too, Adam, on page 16 on the left-hand side, you see Mobu, and to his right is his son there. But on the left, is that supposed to be Mo-10?
I was honestly just thinking that.
Yeah, I think I don't know, like before he's revealed as a character, like he's not in this arc like whatsoever.
Right.
But I think that's who that's supposed to be. I'm not 100% certain though.
Yeah.
Maybe we're missing something, because it's been a few days since I read this, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it now. It totally could be Muten. The only thing with that is I feel like Muten has never really been a part of the Ryu faction in any way. Like, they don't even specifically say that later. But it would make sense.
Part of the Mo faction, honestly.
That's what I'm saying, because like I mean, we can't really talk about him because he's not really a character. But like everything that we know of him, he doesn't really seem to be a part of like the politics side of any of this. He's really just a kid who has the same ambition as Shin.
Yeah,
he wants to be a general, you know. But it's really cool to see all these other characters. His son, Rishi, Shohei-kun. I mean,
Saitaku.
Right, Saitaku.
The Chancellor himself.
I also want to talk about Mobu's weapon. He has like the most unique, in my opinion, weapon. It is just a club.
Yeah, it's just it couldn't be called a club. It's a hunk of iron.
It was much.
I get that reference.
Hey, I'm proud of you, Jesse. Nice. I'm so happy you get
Jesse.
That reference. But yeah, like, and I'm specifically thinking about a scene later in this, in the next chapter maybe. I don't really remember exactly when, but he's fighting a character and he literally obliterates half of their body with this blunt weapon.
I know what you're talking about. I think that's in the next arc.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Or it's in the arc after that.
Right. It's the fat guy. You know what I'm talking about. It's the fat general guy or whoever it was.
Here's the thing. He does that to a lot of people, though.
That's very true. It's just so weird because, like, it makes more sense for, like, you know, when Oki or Dukyo slices someone in half, you know, they get sliced in half. They have glaives. That makes sense.
Right.
He literally just like pushes their body in half. Like
pushes their body in half.
Like, think about how that would work. It's literally the scene from Kung Pao Enter the Fist where he punches a hole in the center of a person. Like, it doesn't even make fucking sense. But it does, because it's Mobu.
Real quick, what does that guy say? He's like,
crap, man. Oh,
that stinks, or something like that, or like some shit like, you're in trouble, mister.
Yeah. You did it in an earlier episode. I forget which one.
I did. I forget. Fuck.
But yeah, that's literally what comes to mind because of the fact that he's using a blunt weapon that is literally just a cylinder at the end of a pole.
Which is pretty cool.
It is cool. That's why I wanted to point it out, because it's such a... I don't know how many other people are actually using clubs. I feel like there's a few other characters we'll see that have a club-like weapon. But the fact that Mobu is literally able to cleave people with a club is, I think, a testament to his strength.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's because that's Mobu's thing, is he wants to be super fucking strong.
Right.
Like, that's it. That's his motivation.
That's it. He wants to be the strongest person in China.
So the whole court is shook that Chancellor Rio and his entourage have shown up, and they're like, "What did you say?" And they're coming up, you know, the steps and stuff, and like, you know, they're waiting for Sei's faction is waiting for the Chancellor and his boys to get to the court. And Shin's like, "Oh yeah, let's see what kind of face this shitty backstabbing bastard's gonna show us." Everyone's like, "Shin, you fucking idiot!" Like, they're all looking at him like he's stupid. And I don't think Heki even knows what they're like too, because he's
no. I don't think they're looking at Shin like he's stupid. I think Shin was able to raise their morale.
You think so?
I think. Okay, so I'm looking at page 9 right now, right? If you look at the bottom right corner, Or the panel right before the bottom right corner. He goes, assholes like this guy pissed me off the most. Let's see what kind of face this shitty backstabbing bastard is going to show us. And all of these chancellors look like they're about to shit themselves because Ryu and his faction's here. And then Shin says that, and I think they're like resolving their morale because in the next chapter they said everyone's eyes have changed. What do we need to cower for? It's only one enemy.
Huh? Yeah, you're right. You're
You know,
right.
I
I read
kinda-
that
I
personally
kinda
as
see
like
that.
You know, I think
yeah.
I think more so Shin showing like, all right, this little fucking kid isn't afraid. Why should we be afraid? We're a powerful faction too, you know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I kind of read that as different, but you're totally right because like when it says everyone's eyes have changed, I kind of read that as like everyone's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, no, I totally see where you could have made that mistake, but I, being a big brain man,
Yeah.
have figured this riddle out for us.
So then the next page after that though, it goes to more of that like people that are powerful just seem to be bigger. The entourage is walking through and everyone's like and
Yeah, literal titans from Attack on Titan have entered the royal chamber.
and on page 12 we see, close-ups of Bobu's face, Rishi's face, Shohei Kun's face. And even Shin's like, what the fuck? Only one of them feels like a warrior, and the rest are all like bureaucrats and shit. But they're giving off this pressure, which I guess is like killing intent or something, like this aura that they've got. So it just kind of shows like how formidable each and every one of them were. And on page, where are we? Oh my goodness, page 16, we see a full shot of the Chancellor for the first time, like full body shot of him.
Still don't see the features of his face, which I find interesting that they waited.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, they definitely just wanted to do that, just to have like a full page reveal of his face.
Right.
But on page 18, I thought this was a pretty cool moment where like even though they're totally at odds, they're still gonna fucking bow, say. Like that, I guess that's just decorum or whatever.
I mean, yeah, he's still their king, right?
Yeah, but like they just tried to get this guy killed.
Well, yeah,
So
I think it's all part of riling up. Not that the bowing is part of riling it up, but they need to still put on a show. You know, they need to still pay respects to their quote unquote king.
But also at the same time too, though, it's like facetious, like
oh, absolutely.
They clearly don't mean any respect. They just have to fucking show this.
Yeah, we're about to see that when Ryo talks about what he says, you know.
Yeah, and page 19 is like the first time we see his face. I love his fucking nose in this picture. What is wrong with his nose? You see that?
It's wrinkly.
I'm supposed to be like scrunched up.
Yeah, I think it's because he's like smirking, so he's got a little bit of a scrunch to his nose.
But yeah, I mean, he's so formidable that even Shin shuts up and staring at the guy. Which is pretty crazy. In the next chapter, fucking Ryo Fui just straight up admits to the assassination attempt happening as like he's responsible for it. Which is a pretty ballsy move, you know. He's saying like, "Oh yeah, it's none other than myself," and then they kind of like say it's like, "Oh yeah, good joke," even though he clearly knows he's telling the truth. But they all play it off as like it's some sort of joke.
That honestly threw me off for a minute. But
Yeah.
then, like, by the end of this chapter, you do find out that he actually really did do it. I thought it was kind of weird that, like, oh, he did it. No, he didn't do it. Oh, he did it. I was like, oh, okay, like, all right.
Yeah, I think it's more so just, you know, I get what you're saying though. It's just supposed to show how powerful Ryu's faction is, that he could literally say that he tried to kill the king to the king's face and nothing could be done about it.
Right, like, I know they explain that, like, you know, there's such a large gap in power that they can't attack them. Like we were talking about a couple minutes ago, like, they can't attack them now. They would just get steamrolled over, I think Adam said.
Yeah.
So, like, I get that, but I I was kind of confused for a minute. Like they tricked me. They did trick me.
Yeah, and I mean, Sage just kind of is like gives him an out with like being like, yeah, enough of your jests. Like that's ridiculous. Even though he clearly knows that it was him. But the narrator says too here, like, assassination of a king is pretty abnormal. But in the face of this, Ryofui just openly confesses his crime in front of. They could not do a single fucking thing to do anything. And it's basically just to show like how much of a difference in power, or there is rather.
Yeah, I think in the last episode we talked a bunch because they mentioned that it's like very taboo to try and assassinate a king of another country or another I don't know if state, yeah, not country, and it's just the fact that Ryofui doesn't give a fuck is because he literally has the power to not give a fuck.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Like the king can do whatever the fuck he wants, but can't go up against him.
Absolutely. I mean, he just doesn't have the power.
But yeah, on page 11, we get to see Saitaku talking about like, can we just fucking get to business here?
I really like this character, by the way. Sorry to cut you off.
Character. No, dude, he's an awesome character. Like he's talking to, it talks about how he was a chancellor from like King Show from like a few generations back. Saitaku came from the east. He was doing diplomatic work. He's like Chin's highest rank diplomat.
Something interesting about the artwork that I've noticed over the past few chapters. You see at the bottom of page 11 where Saitaku is like just white and like less detailed and everything. He's done that a couple times. He did it in Aisei's flashback, and he did it in the Kyokai flashback as well about the Shiyu stuff. And just something interesting I noticed where he'll draw like more of like a sketch, no colors, just a little white.
I don't know if that's like because he was pressed for time, like to.
Oh, I don't really know.
But it does seem very stylistic.
Yeah, I think it's more of just a stylistic.
Yeah, I like it. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, so. He looks like a spirit.
Right. I think maybe that's on purpose too. I mean, he is supposed to be, as we said, a very high-ranking diplomat, probably the highest-ranking diplomat in Chin right now. So maybe he's supposed to make him look more saintly,
Yeah, instead of like how a lot of the generals are huge and menacing, this guy is white and pure.
Yeah, I keep saying this, but the Rio's faction is so fucking cool. And it sucks that they're enemies, but literally every member of his faction is very important, very awesome, like just so fucking cool, man. Even like if Rio wasn't such a shitbag, like even he would be awesome. Dude, imagine they just worked together. Imagine, man. Like, they could have done some really cool shit. Some really cool shit.
If he wasn't a bastard man and was actually loyal to his country and his king.
Right. Instead of just like instead of just trying to get the power, literally work with fucking Aisei. Like, they could have done some really cool stuff.
Well, speaking of awesome people in his entourage, in this chapter we get a little bit about Mobu. We see like what he's like. On page 14, he shows that he didn't want to he's not here to fuck around either. He wants a royal hearing. And Rishi is like, dude, are you serious? Like, what do you want at royal hearing? And Mobu's like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to, you little bitch? I'll have you know that. He does one of those to him.
Yeah. I like that he calls him a little pencil pusher.
Yeah. But, on page...
were there even pencils back then?
No.
Definitely not. There's probably...
And a sharpener to push them into?
But on page 16, we get this awesome, like, full like 2-page spread of Mobu's face and like everybody else reacting to him. How he wants to revive the 6th grade generals of Chin system. And everyone's like, what? Um, and it goes into, in the next chapter, it goes into a little bit more backstory of like what the 6 generals of Chin were, and basically there were these fucking 6 badass people that were given the ability to just wage war on their own, and they were able to just go out through all of China and just fucking wreck everybody, just destroy everyone.
We got a bit of them in the last chapters that we covered, right? We got all their names and everything. Or was
yes.
That was last time.
No, it was last episode. We covered some of the characters, I think, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
We talked. Oh yeah, okay. So we didn't get all of them, but we covered 1 or 2 of them. The guy who buried the 400,000 Zhao was one of the 6, and
right.
I just wanted to point out, I have in my notes as I was reading that last chapter, because we're on chapter 99 now, but chapter 98 was the last chapter we just went through. That entire chapter was so fucking good. That probably
that was one of the better chapters of like Kingdom in period.
Because I was going through and I was marking stuff down, and I kept marking pages, and I was like, man, this is a lot of stuff. Like, I'm just gonna scale it back, and we'll focus on a few of these pages. But literally in my notes, I wrote honestly this whole chapter, because this whole fucking chapter was so good, so much information. Finally got to see some of the Ryu faction and how they, like, their emotions towards things, and like we didn't really get a lot from Rishi and Shohei-kun, but Saitaku and Mobu and Ryu, like. It's just a really good, overall good chapter. And we first finally find out about one of my favorite parts of Kingdom, which isn't like a really big deal of it, but the 6 great generals, I am like so infatuated with the 6 generals.
I think that's a pretty big deal. I mean, at this point, they're talking about reviving it, and everyone's like, that's not going to work out too hot now, but I think it's a pretty important part of the story overall, though.
I don't mean going forward. I mean the original 6 generals.
Gotcha.
Like, I really, really, really wish we got more on those 6.
I agree, because they're fucking amazing. From what we do see, they're really dope.
Right.
And I mean, they basically completely curb stomped all of China. If it wasn't for the fact that King Sho died or kind of earlier than he should have because he was sick, like, they probably would have been able to just take over everything.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because they had the ability to do so on their own.
And they say in this chapter, too, that the only reason that they were able to give so much autonomy to these people, like to give them the right to freely make war, is because King Sho and them they were all very loyal to each other, and King Sho knew that they wouldn't do anything to like revolt or anything like that. But now, obviously, that's not the case. I mean, Sei just got over this fucking assassination plot, and they bring that up. But Mobu's like, "Are you kidding me? I don't give a shit about any of that. I just want to show how I'm the strongest person alive in all of China." And I think Shin kind of respects that a little bit, because he's kind of very blockheaded like that as well, very stubborn, where he doesn't want to do any betrayal or anything like that. He doesn't have any politicking that he cares about. He just wants to be the best general ever, But they also say in this chapter too, like right after that, Saitaku says like, "Oh, isn't you're the strongest in China? Isn't there somebody already stronger than you right here?" And they have like a little shot of Shohei-kun,
Yeah, which is really cool.
My bad. Like, I don't want to like stir up any trouble.
Yeah, I really like that a lot.
But it's a nice, pretty little foreshadowing, because Shohei-kun's a badass too.
But it's funny because we never really get to see it. He's a strategist, We get to see him conducting battle plans, not fighting in battles. So it's cool to think like, man, this guy probably has a lot of potential to be an incredible general on the field.
But Saitaku also makes the point that there's also still like the surviving great general Oki, that monstrous fucking bird of him.
Shin is surprised here. Didn't he know that?
I don't think Shin knew that Oki was one of the 6 generals.
Right.
Again,
I
Shin
knew he was a badass, but
Shin just found out what the 6 great generals was
yeah.
or were. So I don't know if I think he realizes that
That's
Oki
true.
was a very powerful general. And I think he knows that Oki's a very powerful general. I actually really like the way that Saitaku says this too on page 12. He's like,
Yeah.
got his hand in the air, his robe's flying. He's like, "What about Oki, the monstrous
Yeah.
bird?" And everyone's, or mostly Shin's, like shitting his pants.
Well, actually, I was gonna say that face kind of reminds you of like One Piece when they do that fucking face all the
Oh
time.
my god,
You
yeah,
know, with the
yeah,
eyes and shit.
yeah.
That's
Luffy
what
does
that
it a
reminds
lot.
me of. Mm-hmm.
There's literally scenes where like Luffy and Usopp are doing this face, but their eyeballs are like popping out of their fucking heads.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite things, honestly. One of my favorite gags in One Piece.
I will say that's Toriyama did that a lot too. Just saying. Just saying.
Dude, no one likes Dragon Ball. Stop.
Not in Dragon Ball. In Doctor Slump.
Doctor Slump.
So at this point, though, Mobu's like, "Yeah, Oki's a little bitch. He's already done. He's already done for. You know, like he would he would he would turn him into ground meat, and that he wants to show everybody a Chin military mightier than the time of King Sho. And he wants to become a great general like right now. But Ryofu is like, knock it off. Like you're a soldier. There's only so much disrespect you could show a king, which is like, well, first off, what? You just
Right?
admitted to trying to fucking
Right?
murder this guy. But then in the next page, it's like, oh, he's clearly just being sarcastic because, like, oh yeah, my legs are numb now. You talk too long. It's like, ah,
I think that between this and also the elders of the Shiyu tribe, we've gotten a lot of like people in power are fucking hypocrites. You know?
yeah,
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure, for sure. Not only one that isn't is like Say at this point, you know.
Sei is the best ruler.
That's because he's
Yeah.
young.
Next to the ruler of
Well,
Yan.
Although I will have to say, historically, um, Jin Shi Huang was considered a pretty big tyrant, pretty bad guy. Um,
Oh, is that
Obviously,
right, Sai or Say?
we haven't gotten to. I mean, Say is pretty great, but we
Yeah.
haven't even in the entire series. We haven't even gotten to a point where he's like around.
Yeah, I mean, he's
But
still
we
like a
also,
kid in the series.
so fun fact: the person that this is based off of died due to mercury poisoning because he was told and believed that mercury would actually cause immortality. So he would just eat a bunch of fucking mercury. But what it actually did was make him go fucking crazy.
the king who Say is based off of.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Now, what's his name?
Qin Shi Huang.
And what is Say's name in the like in the Chinese translated version of Kingdom?
I
Oh,
don't.
I don't remember. I could look it up real quick.
I'm pretty sure Qin Shi Huang is like an assumed name. It's like kind of like like Temujin became Genghis Khan, or like Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. Spoilers for Star Wars.
Hey, I'm glad you also said Jangus and not Genghis, by the way.
Yeah, Genghis.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Because
Don't
it
you
is
hate that though,
Jangus.
Adam?
No, it is Jangus. I hate when people say
No.
Genghis.
I thought when we hung out, you were saying that you knew it's Genghis, but you hate it anyway.
No, I prefer Jangus.
yeah, no, Genghis is the right way to say it.
Right.
For any of you that are interested in learning about Jangus, check out Hardcore History Podcast on Spotify.
Oh, dude, the fucking that's such a good series.
Yeah, that's another series that we do. We've been doing that for a little while now.
Another really good one that's like a little like one off is Prophets of Doom. That's a really good fucking one. It's about like these Anabaptist people, like right at the beginning of the Protestant Reformation, that took over the town of Munster, and it's wild, man. It's like a sex cult thing in like the 1500s, and it's really interesting story. Anyway, we're kind of getting off topic a little.
Yeah.
Well, no. Real quick. Another good podcast that's similar to that is Office Ladies. It's Pam and Angela from The Office, and they talk about The Office.
Well, I wanted to plug.
It's a lot like hardcore history.
Yeah, it's about The Office.
I wanted to plug The Office Ball Z, which is about The Office
fake.
and Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball.
It's not fake. Let's be real about it.
Who runs that, Evan?
It's some fucking fat kid from New Jersey.
That's so mean.
With horrible ideas.
He's balding. But at the same time has too much hair on his body.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. My 2-year-old niece pointed at my head and said, "You have no hair." I'm not even kidding.
Aw, I'm sorry. That's horrible. But yeah,
and then she rubbed my arm and said, "You have hair."
What a sweetie.
Anyway, Office Ball Z is run by Jesse, our own Jesse. If anybody wants to check it out, it's also on YouTube and Spotify. Trying to be serious here for a second. It's a really good podcast. Jesse does a really good job of relating Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball to The Office. So check it out. Office Ball Z. Anyway, what I wanted to bring up was that they call Ace in the Chinese translations, he says, "I'm Zhang."
Zhang's his name. Okay.
Right. So they probably go with the actual name.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, Qin Shi Huang is like not a name; it's just like a title.
Right.
I think it means like first Chinese emperor or some shit like that. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, let's continue forward here. Rio Fui's like being a dick again. He's like, "Hey, I can pick out 6 general from my own guys if you want, my king." And everyone's like, "Nani the fuck? He's building 6 generals with him at the center." But they don't do that. They're like, whatever. And this shot of them all like leaving on page 18 of chapter 99 is pretty great. They're all just like walking down the steps like that. I think it's pretty badass.
It is pretty badass, except for Saitaku, who needs to have a little boy guide him down the steps.
Well, that's Moki, right?
Yeah, that's Moki.
Yeah. Yeah, Saitaku's an old man. But he's still I'm sure if like a normal commoner stepped up to him, he'd look like 7'9" and like 700 pounds of muscle. You know,
he would literally be Roshi and just like make himself fucking muscular.
Oh my god, dude. So the next.
Thank God, Evan's mic finally destroyed itself.
I'm so sick of that man.
I'm so done. So glad he's done talking.
Wait, what?
Your mic made a weird noise and you stopped talking, so he laughed at you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I heard a weird noise in my headphones too. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, guys. Rather than being rude to me, let's continue, okay?
Oh, you want to talk about being rude? All those things you just said about Jesse were pretty damn rude.
Were they wrong?
just because they're correct doesn't mean they're not rude.
Does he not have hair all over his back? Does he not have hair on his head?
Hey, I've been saying since high school that Jesse's body hair is manly as fuck, alright?
Oh, don't get me wrong. In the middle of the winter when it's cold as hell, who better to cuddle with? Who better to share a cave with?
The shag rug himself.
The shag rug Jesse.
Yeah, hey, we had a friend in high school who used to tell me how manly my hair was, and now he fucks a married woman.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Evan, do you know who he's talking about?
I think. I'm not sure. I don't know.
His name starts with a T and ends with a vis.
Oh man, good for him. Oh man. Okay. Uh. Oh my. Anyway, guys, let's wrap this up, okay? Because we're almost there. We're almost at the finish line here. So um,
Yeah.
all right. At
So
the
this,
beginning of chapter 100, um, at the beginning of chapter 100, Rishi's like, "Hey, Chancellor Rio, like, if you wanted to kill the king, like, we could have actually like done it if you talked to me about it." But Rio's like, what's the fun in that? Something being definite, which seems like a little bit stupid, even if Saitaku makes the point that like he doesn't know the Chancellor's nature. Um, which seems a little bit dumb to me because I mean you're trying to kill the king and take power. Like you definitely should wanna like be 100% about that. Like, am I wrong here? Am I the only person that thinks that that was kind of a weird conversation? Like, I mean, I know it goes to show that like it's supposed to show that like he's like capricious and like is more interested in like the chase than the goal. But did you guys also think that was kind of dumb?
I know the outcome, so I know that Rio's a fucking idiot for this. So,
Right. Yeah.
I
Um.
didn't think it was too bad. I mean, I totally get what you're saying, but I don't know. I don't know if I was like, what a fucking dumbass. I was
yeah,
kind of like,
this is something
but
that once we yes, Evan. Once we go more into what happens with Rio and Sei, the fact that he had the chance and like where Ryu started, like a lowly merchant, like a civilian merchant, not someone who started with power or was born into nobility, and you realize that his goal the entire time was to become the king of Chin or the king of a state, Chin being the state. Um, the fact that he was right there and he could have just did it and he didn't do
Yeah.
it,
Mm-mm.
kind of stupid.
Little
hmm.
dumb, right?
Little dumb, especially for how hard he's worked to get here and how much of a risk he's been taking for so many years. Especially because he's not even from the state of Qin. He's from Zhao. He was a Zhao merchant who put stock into someone who wasn't even the rightful heir of the throne and got him to that position
Right.
so that he could be made a chancellor and then fucking threw it all away. Yeah, kind of stupid.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's all I was trying to say. Like it was just uh, I don't know. It's pretty dumb, but like I said before, though, it's like it's just meant to outline how, his like capricious nature and how he's like he just wants to like he just likes fucking around with people rather than like actually getting what he wants. But this throws like Say's court like in a tussle. Um, like it shows like Say's like everyone's like being like all pissed off and like Say's kicking the throne and everyone's like, "Oh, my lord, don't do that." But Shin goes up to him. He's like, let's go get some air." And they go to their spot, their favorite spot. Um, and like Shin's like, "Oh yeah, even you hit shit when you when you're angry." Um, they basically they lost this one is what their conversation's about. Like there's they got Rishi, they got Shoei-kun, they got Mobu, they got Saitaku, they got Rio. But those four guys are specifically like the four pillars of the Rio faction. But Rio, as powerful and formidable as all of them are, Rio's still like the best because he's the one that brought them all together. And this goes into a little bit of his backstory about how he was a merchant from a foreign state, how he got his like a large sum of money for his say his father to become the king of Chin, and because of that, he was given like the reward of a chancellor position. Um, Yeah, so basically this is them like talking it out, say kind of decompressing a little bit. They actually make the point that this is the same spot that they were out when Shin made the promise to like um, go through the ranks of the soldiery and become like a great general.
Yeah, I like.
I hope that. Go ahead, Adam.
All I was gonna say was I really like that they like show the scene too, where like Sei says like you must climb your way up to me, like in the panel.
Yeah, I hope that when they get a little bit older, they come up to this spot and maybe spark a joint or something, chill out.
It probably wouldn't be a joint. It'd probably be opium in like a pipe, right? Was opium a thing back then?
Yeah, it definitely was a thing, but I think that I think cannabis was still a thing as well. I mean,
Oh, okay.
cannabis has been used for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So it wouldn't. I don't think it would be that far fetched for either of those things that they would smoke. Honestly,
Well, what the hell was that noise?
who was slapping their balls in the tub?
Oh man.
Think you would notice. No, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't think that would be that loud. I shook up my sanitizer bottle. Also,
is that what that was?
The sanitizer is.
Fuck, that was not what that was.
No, yeah.
You were slapping your nuts in the tub, Jesse. It's okay. You
Dude,
can just admit it.
I'll say though, this sanitizer is made by Suave, and it literally feels like shampoo. It's like kind of fucking gross. It's like
that sounds
too
nasty.
thick and slippery.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, all the sanitizers in fucking Puerto Rico all smell like tequila. They're extremely strong and they burn your hands.
Tequila, dude.
Wow. So did the bottle say like, kill 99%?
Yeah, it's just a bottle of tequila with a pump at the top. That's all it fucking is.
Oh my god. Good thing I just happened to have my microphone further away from my mouth there. I laughed really loud.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Oh, God. I miss you guys. I wish you were closer to me.
Just come down and visit once the vid's gone, if it ever's gone.
The vid's never going away.
Yeah, I know.
The Coco.
Me and Evan are hanging out tonight. We're watching Tim Heidecker.
Yo. I'll be back for Thanksgiving, so we'll hang out then.
Definitely.
Maybe a live episode?
Yeah,
Maybe.
We should do that, actually. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be fun.
So before we get into some plans like that, we only got a few chapters here, so let's blast through this.
Yeah.
Processing.
On chapter 100, page 13, it shows like what the mountain tribe's been up to, and it has a really awesome shot of Baggio just slicing like 3 people at once. In the background, you see Shunmen riding Rankai,
which is awesome.
Because
we never know what we never know what we actually. They said that Rankai like dies kind of in the throne room,
right?
And here he is, not dead, fucking swinging people by their legs.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. There was one of those bonus chapters where I think that exact thing happens. Like, he rides away on Rankai, and I thought it was just like a gag for the bonus chapter. And yet, here we are.
Here it is. Yep. Shunmen's riding on top of him, like, pointing him where to go. In the page after that, we get a really dope shot of Yotanwa. And on the side, it says, like, here, they've just basically just been stomping tribe after tribe after tribe, and the mountain lands to the west of Chin are basically completely under her control, which is dope, which is really cool. And they're actually fighting with the like the horsemen of the north, like the Xiongnu, who are the predecessors to the Mongols, and the Xiongnu caused no like endless amounts of problems for the Chinese, like for years and years and years.
You think Yotanwa actually said trash?
Yeah, probably. I mean, the fucking squiggles that they have is definitely not anything. Dude,
no, she actually called them pencil pushers.
Nice.
Tanwa gets brought up here, though, I think that my 3 favorite characters are the 3 women that we have with Kyokai, Ten, and Tanwa.
You think so?
I'm
I
really digging them.
I really
Honestly?
like Kyokai and Yotama, and I'm surprised you like Ten because Ten only gets really fucking cool later in the manga. So it's already
Honestly,
cool that you
yeah.
like Ten.
Honestly, I'm kind of in the
her
same boat.
smallness, you know.
That was a
Like
weird
how
sentence.
well, no, that she's just like a small like kid. She's like trying her best, but she's kind of
Yeah.
sticking on the sidelines and shooting people with blow darts and stuff like that.
No, yeah, I always
geez,
liked
I just
10.
realized we haven't even gotten to what happens with 10 yet.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's coming up soon. Like in the rest of this chapter, like Say's telling him, like, oh, yep, we got, it's your turn now to make moves in the next war that's gonna be coming up like very soon. And Say comes back and he talks to Mr. Shi and like some of the other people that were from the Ketsu's faction, and he like really does a good job at like getting them back into the fold, to fight against the Rio faction. And the last page of this chapter saying like everybody in the Rio faction were like they didn't even think about this fucking incident, but this like really galvanized Say's faction for the upcoming events. The next chapter in chapter 101 is like it's a Karyoten chapter. It deals with like a lot of she's met a lot of people. Um, After the revolt happened, they like found like technically like peace. They got their own house. Uh, but Shin kept moving forward, and rather than just kind of be complicit and live like by herself, do like her own, living like a normal life, she kind of wants to follow along with them. And it flashes back to the conversation she had with Kyokai, um, and Kyokai recommends something to her. We at this point in the chapter we don't see what it is yet, um, but um, going forward, Karyoten is having this conversation with Shin on their way back, and she tells her about like, oh, what happened with Kyokai, how Kyokai told her about the revenge thing, um, and then it's like a lot of like a little bit of like cock teasing of like what's gonna happen, what is Ten gonna do, and then flashback, and then like, oh yeah, I'll tell you later, flashback back to the conversation.
Well, when she says also dot dot dot, and then he's like, "There's more," and she's like, "Never mind, I'll tell you later." Was that gonna be like, "I'm a girl"? Because he still doesn't know that, right?
It was either that she was gonna tell him that, or that she was gonna become like a strategist.
Right. I assumed it was the strategist thing, but it could also be
Yeah,
that
I'm pretty sure it was the strategist thing.
at some point Shin will figure it out.
Yeah. Um.
My
So
bad. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I'm sorry. I thought that she did tell him that she was going to be a strategist, but she was talking about Kyokai. My bad.
So on page 14, on the top of this page, we get Ten's face where she's like, she gives off major like Japanese delinquent vibes here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Nanikura,
Yeah.
And I guess she's a little bit self-conscious because she puts on the bird basket thing. Um, and page 15, she's going to become a strategist. And like that's what her thing. She's not going to be a fighter or anything like that because she's like a small little weakling, whatever. Um, but she's basically saying like, yeah, after becoming a strategist, I'll use you as a pawn to direct my victory. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, Shin's pretty happy about it though. And he's like, I never thought of you as like some normal kid. You did. First off, I met you in this fucking crazy ass bandit village. That in itself is like pretty nuts. And like Ten helped out with the revolt, with the assassins, um, and he's saying like basically like you never know, like you might be the strongest one out of all of us, um, and that he can't wait for like to fight on the battlefield with her, which I thought was a really good Shin moment. Like there's not very many moments where he's like actually like makes good points and stuff. But I think this was one of them, you know.
Yeah, definitely. He's not being such a knucklehead.
Yeah. And one thing I just want to point out, I don't know why, the moon looks like an eye.
Yeah, that's funny. I was going to say that a couple chapters ago.
Yeah, it's not just in this chapter. It's been there for a
Yeah.
while like that. Whenever he draws a half moon, it just looks like a lemon or an eye.
Yeah, I was thinking that's actually exactly what I was thinking. It kind of looks like a lemon slice to me.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be something that's like looking down at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, possibly. I think he's drawing the moon to kind of show the passage of time. You know, like the different stages of the moon mean that it's, a couple days later or whatever. But,
Right.
But I think that what you're saying could also be some symbolism.
So in the next chapter, Kyokai picks up Karyo-ten because she knows where Ten needs to go. Brings Ten to where she needs to be at, and Kyokai comes back to pass on a message to Shin, saying like, "Oh, I'm going away for a while, so take care of yourself in the meantime." And he's like worried that she did something to Ten, but Kyokai's like, no, I'm the one who actually helped set this whole thing up. You're good. I'll see you later. um, Shin's like, Shin doesn't think she's lying, but like she still wants to talk to her. So like he invites her into the house and stuff, um, where they have a conversation about like who Ten is going to, and Kyokai doesn't even know for sure like who the person is, but the person's able to contact Kyokai, so he's got to be capable enough, Uh, I think.
Is that true that she doesn't know who it is, or that she doesn't want Shin to know that Ten is going to work for Ryo Fui?
I don't think Kyokai has any idea about the Ryo Fui faction.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kyokai is very apolitical,
Yeah, she's not a part of the Chin either. She wasn't born in Chin, and a lot of the people, even the people that were born in Chin, probably don't know who Ryo Fui is. A lot of the peasants and common folk really don't understand a lot of the people. They probably know who the king is, and that's about it.
Yeah, basically. Uh, in this chapter too, we see on page 11. Is this the first time we see Kyokai freaking out about food? Because she's a pretty big foodie.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So Ten shows up to the palace that she's supposed to be at. And she's like, "What the fuck am I doing here? Like, this is crazy. Like, what the hell kind of a place is this?" And she's super intimidated by everything. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we got to report to our lord first. Just wait here for a sec." But Ten is still like, Ten being Ten, decides to eavesdrop and stuff. And she realizes quickly that like she's in the midst of like her enemy's fact. And I thought this was Jesse. What did you think about this? Did you expect this?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So like when it showed like, oh, Shohei Kun and Saitaku sitting there, were you like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay, very, very nice layer you're adding on to this.
Yeah, even the first time I read this, I'd never expected this.
For sure. I remember being shocked when I first read it as well. Like, what the fuck? They just spent this like entire like last few chapters like setting up how like these guys are evil and they're the bad guys and stuff.
I think that I may have thought she was going to Oki if I was like expecting anything, because it's like, oh, who's it gonna be? Oh, maybe it'll be that, but yeah, definitely not Ryo Fui.
But in the next chapter, it says like the Shiyu, who is Kyokai, obviously, sent a letter of recommendation to Shohei Kun, and Shohei Kun's like, all right, yeah. Like everybody else is like what the fuck? Who are you, kid? This isn't a place for children and stuff. But Shohei Kun's like very calmly, like, yeah, have that kid take the room next to yours, Moki. He's like, oh, sure, why not? And obviously they know who Ten is, like and how she's like close to the king and stuff like that. But they're really kind of nonplussed from it, you know. Um, and like Moki's like, ah, you clearly like didn't know what was going on. Like you're not a spy, but like, um, yeah. So a lot of this chapter is basically just uh, Karyoten meeting, talking with Moki, and like getting used to like what the situation is about. And they're basically saying like, yeah, even if you did have any um, like spying opportunities or whatever, they don't really care. You know, like you're not. It's separate from Ryofui's faction, this like public service area. As long as she's inside of this territory, they're not like an enemy territory. Um, Also, this person Moki doesn't realize that Ten is a woman as well, which is fucking stupid. Um, and you know, there's a conversation between Saitaku and Shohei-kun, and Shohei-kun's like, yeah, during the Seikyo Revolt, she was basically instrumental in the king escaping and stuff. And they're saying like, oh yeah, they've got a pretty good piece, like talking about like, I guess like pieces of on like a game board or whatever.
Right.
And Saitaku says, like, for those whose plot special pieces are even more so valuable, a piece who is well aware of the interstate affairs of the enemy camp, one that will allow us to make unguarded contact with our enemies. Truly, this is a blessing for us. So they're trying to use Ten in their own way, even though Moki just basically said that wasn't going to happen. um, so they're going to basically work her, build her up, and try to turn her. So yeah, I think. Oh yeah, one last thing too. They talk about Kyokai being a piece, but they say like the most valuable one is definitely Shin. Like that's the one that they want to switch over to their side and kind of like to join the Rio faction, you know, or at least Shohei Kun's faction.
Right.
They're all impressed by what Shin has done. Like his brief career has he shot from single soldier to 100-man commander in one go, killed a bunch of officers and stuff like that. And he's still like what 14, 15 or some shit like that, you know.
Yeah, young kid still.
But I believe that's where we left off, right? Chapter 103.
No.
No, 107.
Yeah,
Was it?
107. That's the end of this arc.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Yeah. Sorry. It's been a few days since I read it. Um, so, in the next chapter, we have, the talk between between Shin and Kyokai, where it's like, um, he comes to the real, like they talk about like how she's actually a woman and stuff, which is like finally, like it's about time. This shit should have happened like a while ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably. Especially since they were sharing living spaces during the fucking first campaign.
yeah. Like yeah. Well, there's like actually like a bonus chapter. I forget on which chapter where like it shows them like all like huddled together, like sleeping all over each other, and
Yeah, yeah. I think the B brothers were like all cuddled up on Kyokai, right?
yeah. But Kyokai mentions that like from now on, like what Shin's like, what are you gonna do? Kyokai's like, I'm going to head off the way by myself, and for revenge and whatever. But like Shin's like, yeah, once you're done with that, come back here. I know you said that you had nothing but revenge, but like I know that you've risked your life for other people before. Come, you got a place with me here. And like for the next fight, like you're gonna be in my unit. Um,
I
Shin
like.
wakes up and
Uh,
Kyokai's already gone. Sorry.
all I was gonna say was I like that Kyokai also says like, "Hey, at the rate you're going, you're definitely just gonna fucking die to Shin."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
Yeah.
because like, and he literally, I think we may have even talked about it during the first campaign when he just like jumped into enemy lines by himself and opened up a hole for everybody. Just like, what are the odds that actually would have worked when everyone's holding spears? You would have just like skewered yourself.
Yeah. No, that in real life, obviously not.
Right. Of course, this is a manga, and he's our main character, so of course that's not going to happen. But I like that she brings it up, and he's like, "Don't worry, I already have a plan for that."
This chapter is also notable because on page 14, we get to see N for the first time.
Our
Endono.
boy,
Our fucking
Endono.
boy Endono. So like N is he's a guy that's at Shin's village to act like as a liaison between Heki and like Shin and stuff to like kind of like for Shin to get into quick contact with the royal court. But he wants, N tells him or Shin tells N to bring him to a place, and N's freaking out like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. It's fucking stupid. This is a bad idea. We're not allowed to go there. They don't say what it is like as of right yet, but Shin wants to go there because it's supposed to make him stronger. Like he needs to become stronger before the next fight. And at the end of the chapter, it's revealed they're going to General Oki City. And it's this giant city, and you see a giant Oki on top of it. I don't know if that's Oki himself or stylization, No.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool panel too. They show Oki
Yeah.
over the city. I also think it's really important to note that N was literally like a farmer before any of this. Like, was not someone who went to war. At least that I think. I don't think he did.
No, he was just like a normal guy.
Just a normal dude who gets dragged into Shin's fucking
bullshit.
Yeah, his destiny, which is pretty cool. But
yeah,
I mean, because he like the only thing we saw about him was he had 2 kids and probably assumably a wife, and now he's much more than that.
Yeah. Well, that's a little bit in the further,
Of course,
in the future.
Of course.
But so they get to the city and Shin's like knocking on the gate, and as soon as they open up the door, you get to see Toe, the boy fucking Toe, another massive man.
I like how he's not even looking at Shin too.
Yeah, and he immediately closes the gate. They're just like, what the fuck? But before they can...
you know what's funny now that I'm looking at it? When you're reading it, you think like the second time you see Toe, you think that it's the gate still opening. But it's actually the gate closing
again. Yeah. That's pretty funny. So that's kind of weird too that the gate even closed, because Oki shows up with his retinue from right behind him, and then the gate opens right back up again.
Yeah, like, first off, did Shin not realize that a giant fucking cavalry of people were behind him, and did Toad not see him coming?
It's because he's a shitty assassin.
Oh yeah,
he's also bad at Dark Souls.
He definitely would have been stabbed from behind.
But yeah, I guess Toad didn't notice, or just like saw it was Shin and just immediately closed it again or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Toad's like, I hit the button a couple too many times.
Yeah, it's like when you're playing a video game and you hit like squared like 3 times instead of 2 times, But yeah, Oki's like, oh yeah, look at this, it's Shin. Oh, youngster Shin, what are you doing here, bud? So it shows
he even says bud. Really weird.
Yeah, what the fuck? I didn't know that was like a thing in China. Bud.
Bud.
That's where the word buddy comes from.
Yeah.
China.
Yep.
But it showed, Oki was out there for practice with his, like, I guess, personal guard. And En's like, oh, they're doing army drills. These guys look fucking badass. What kind of shit were they going through? And like, like Oki, like they're all messed up. Like one guy's missing an eye, another guy's nose is like half off, sliced off.
Isn't someone missing an arm?
Oh my god, I never even noticed that until you pointed that out. He literally is missing a fucking arm.
Wow, that's fucked up. Good job, Oki.
Well, they gotta be badass to be in Oki's army. This fucking dude, man, he's missing an arm. How is he even gonna fucking fight? They don't have prosthetic back then.
He's like, Toe, open the door again, please. I'm missing an arm.
I left my arm out there.
I lost my arm in Vietnam. Isn't that like one of those old jokes that everybody says?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. I don't know.
So, in this chapter, which is entitled "Naked Socializing," on page 11, Shin and En go into the baths with Oki and his retinue. And he's like, "Oh yeah, this is the first time I've seen you since we were on that hill together." And Shin's like, "Oh yeah, I need you to help me become stronger." Like he's asking him to teach him. And Oki's like, "Oh really? I thought you wanted me to fuck you." which is I know the one fellow that commented, or madam that commented on the first episode was like, "Don't fucking ship Toe and Oki." This is basically why I think so, because like I don't know.
Oki makes a lot of sly homosexual remarks.
He makes a lot of man fucking jokes.
Yeah, he says the same thing. At a certain
point, is it a joke, or is it like, are you actually trying to get your dick wet?
He makes the same joke about
like high school.
What?
Why is that like high school?
No, just not like it. Not like actually, just like high school humor of like someone making a bunch of gay jokes.
Oh, okay.
Are you actually gay? Yeah, it's not like my actual high school experience.
Yeah, okay, Jesse.
Yeah, well, I thought you were talking about how we used to all have gay sex with each other back in high
school. Now you told everyone. All right.
He makes the same joke with fucking Shobankun as well.
He does. So, what's it called? Sorry. So Oki's like, why are you here now? Like, you were super confident, but Shin's saying like, oh yeah, I realized that I'm a lot less powerful than I thought I was. Like, I got my ass beat to me. Like, I'm not gonna be able to just do the same. Like, I'm not gonna be able to get training from like just doing physical labor and shit. And Oki's like, yeah, you seem to realize that. Good thing you realize it, but you didn't put enough thought into this. Like, fuck off, kid. And they're like, why are you here? And like, here specifically. And Shin's like, yeah, it's because he's a great general of the heavens. Like, I want to get trained by someone like that.
The dude that says this too, the random soldier, got a big, long fucking neck. Look at that neck.
He does have like a giraffe's neck.
It's a really long fucking neck. I mean, look at Shin's neck on the same page. Little scrawny neck. Look at this dude's neck. It's as thick as his fucking head and super long. It honestly looks like his head's on the front part of his neck and not like sitting on his neck.
Oh my god. I feel like you could look at it like it's like if you turned around, it's like his head's on the backside of his body, It's definitely weird. That's definitely not.
Yeah, I'm thinking like his neck
quality drawing there.
I'm thinking his neck comes up and then like arches, like has like a arch to it at the top, and then like, oh man, I wish I could show this, but I really can't. And like, I'll do it with my mouse. So it comes up and then like rounds out at the top, and then it comes out a little bit forward, and then his head's here. So
yeah.
There you go. I'll give a visual to everyone besides you two.
Damn it.
I'll have to watch it back.
Yeah. So, they're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Like, nobody's obligated to help you out. And he's like, "Oh, but if you did help me out, like I'll help you out. You know, like I'll be strong enough to be your right hand man." Um, and Oki's like, "In case it seems that to cure stupidity, you got to die first, though." And Shin takes that as like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna drill me and stuff," but he's like, "Nope, I'm gonna show you something else." So they go into the middle of nowhere with Oki and En and Shin in tow. And during on the way there, Shin's like, "How did you become one of these six generals?" And even Oki is like, "Yeah, I'm is like surprised that Shin hasn't even heard about that, because it was so long ago." And he's telling him like, in the state of Chin, there's not like a single person worthy of the name general. Um, because like back then, they would just day and night, all that they did was fight. And it shows all of them: Haki, Oko, Kosho, Shibasaku, Kyo, and Oki. And this is a really cool page on page 8 of chapter 106, how they surmounted battles and buried numerous foes. Um, like cities would just surrender as soon as they just approached. That's a really cool page, I think. One of the better pieces of art in this read through that we've done so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 pages leading up to this, with all the six, and then Oki standing here in front of all these people is awesome.
So and Oki's even saying like it's not the system of the great generals that was great; it was the people that were great. Um, and even though Mobu's strong, he could be a match for them, but his experience is just not even there. Like he's not even at the same level of experience as everybody else was. So he's saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna." Shin saying to him like, "Oh yeah, I want to become a great general of the heavens," and Oki's like, "Oh, you want to get up to where I'm at?" And he's like, "No, I want to be better than you."
Yeah,
And
I love that answer, by the way.
yeah,
Especially
that was
because
a good
like,
answer.
especially because right before it too, they showed the scenes with like him and Hyo.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, and actually, Oki liked that answer too, and Toe also liked it too. They're both pretty they're laughing at it and stuff. And Oki's like, "Oh yeah, this training's gonna be harsh. Like, you ready?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it. You gotta train me, Oki." And then what's it called? Page 15 is "I refuse," and he just kicks Shin off of this cart.
Oki looks
Great
so
panel
weird
there.
in this picture too. I feel like his side profile just doesn't even really resemble what Oki actually looks like. I don't know why. It just looks like an old man in this picture for
Part of
some
it
reason.
is that the shoulder pads and his armor is drawn black so that like like his beard you can't see because it's up against black. You know
Right,
what I
right,
mean?
right.
That's definitely part of it.
That, and I think because his eyes are closed.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely has something to do with it as well. But yeah, he basically just throws Shin down a cliff, and he somehow survives. I guess he hits a branch and then he falls into some water, which would definitely kill you either way. Obviously, he's not because this fucking manga we're talking about. But En gets a little bit of a backstory, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Um, like, well, this isn't training." But Oki's like, "Yeah, this is training, actually, you idiot. Like, who do you think you are?" um, so Shin's just in like this place where all of a sudden, like, he's just thrown into this battle like immediately. Flashes over to Karyo 10, where it shows that like Moki has special permission from the Shoei-kun to accompany the army staff like in battle, even though he's so young. He's a pretty cool character too. I really like him. He doesn't really do all that much, but he's pretty great.
Yeah, I'm hoping when they get older, he'll be more involved as a strategist, and we get a little bit more from him. But
Yeah,
he's a cool character for sure.
but
The Mo family is pretty cool in general.
this sidebar though ties into what's going on with Shin, where they're saying like, oh yeah, the best teacher is always there's nothing better for training than a real battle. Um, and it goes right back to where Shin and Oki are, and En, where he's like saying this is one of the mainly stateless areas located within Shin. where it's barren land. There's basically nothing in there, um, and just like people fighting for resources and stuff. Um, and he charges Shin with trying to subjugate the region for Oki. Uh,
Yo, when he calls out to Shin on page 10, I think that's literally the first time Oki's mouth has been drawn open.
yeah, I think you're right, honestly.
Yeah, he's got a Mr. Potato Head mouth, and it never opens. Just like me.
Looks more like a Mrs. Potato Head mouth, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's got the big plastic lips.
Yeah. The silicone injection, which I didn't know they had in China back then too.
Made famous in China, actually.
But yeah, so like in this tribe that Shin's like in the behind, he's in their lines because he just got thrown behind them. There's only about 100 of them, and so Shin has to basically whip them into shape and fight off the other invaders in this area. And Shin immediately like tells them like get into 5-man groups, fall back and support people with the spears, yada yada yada. And this is the best training for Shin. God. This is what he has to do to be ready for the next campaign.
Yeah, I want to point out on page 14 and then 15, like when he actually tells Oki that he accepts the challenge or whatever.
Yeah.
It just like cuts to him kneeing that dude right in the face.
Yeah.
Saving that little kid.
Mm-hmm. He just in where he like grabs the dude by the fucking throat.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
We gave him kind of different voices there, didn't we, Evan?
A little bit. But so En goes down there. Oki tells him like, hey, once you're done tell Shin that once he's done subjugating the area, he's gonna take him to train. And it flashes back forward to the winter, where as Shin and Ten's days of training continued, Kanyo welcomed winter. Shin would rally its army in the second month of the new year. So there's a little bit of a time skip. Um, and that's where we read up to. I looked forward a little bit. I'm pretty sure where we should read up to is chapter 149 for the next episode or two. Um, it's part of the next campaign, the Bio arc, uh, where a lot of really cool characters are introduced. A lot of like we get to see the results of Shin's training, and yeah, I'm really excited for this arc because it's one of the better ones, honestly.
I agree. I also drew in paint a picture of the guy's neck and his head that I'm going to show on screen real quick.
Okay.
Just for everyone to see exactly what I'm talking about over here.
What a callback, bro.
I even gave him the little 3-pronged beard. And I
post that in the Discord. I want to see it.
Okay, I'll be sure to post it in the Discord right now. But yeah, I just wanted to show everyone, this is what I was talking about. The neck comes up, there's a hump, and then it comes forward, and then his head's there. And this is what it looked like because his neck was this fucking long. And the way that he drew the head on the neck, it looked like his head was in front of his neck, not like at the top of his neck. So anyway.
Well, all right, fellows. I think that about wraps everything up for this episode. Got a nice, long, and thick one for today. As always, it's a pleasure talking to you guys, and to everybody listening, thank you. Make sure you comment on it. We love to see the comments, and subscribe to our channel. So, this has been Mangaki no Tsukai. My name's Evan. I was with with Jesse and Adam. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.